half a day and tiro inaonu si Edwin Palacios Aldan go at kadin islan Tinian dan Aguiguan. We see it in Guam, we see it in Hawaii. You know, it's getting close to our place where we lose our language, our culture. To some point in some other places in the world, they lose their identity, and that's why it's very, very important to have some kind of gathering. And it's a festival. It is the perfect venue where we showcase our culture, and to perpetuate the continuity of our culture and identity. Yes, we've been trying to set up after school programs, so then it doesn't have to be on an annual basis. We wanna create a classroom atmosphere for our kids. It's not to say that PSS is not doing their job in our bilingual program, but I think more so outside from the school setting is also good for our kids, and that's why culture is very important for any ethnicity. It is your identity, and us Chamorros are unique. Our culture is unique. A lot of our people will be quite surprised that is a different, that's totally different from what we're practicing right now. Chamorro culture is a unique culture, been recorded for thousands of years. We've been out here in the archipelago for thousands of years. A lot of these historians that come out here and do their studies have been amazed at how our Chamorro culture is so unique from everywhere else in the world. So for somebody to learn more of their culture is a plus. You know, you cannot escape your identity, and it is not in the best interest for someone who is a Chamorro to forget that they're Chamorro. Oh, Taga I grew up learning in back then simplest oral history of Taga back when I was going to school, and I learned through all of this the history of Taga, and it was really embedded in me as to how Taga became first a chief. He was a chief from Guam, came out here to the northern islands, and he went around to all the different islands, and he became known and popular. He's a warrior. He's like a nobleman to all the chiefs. Back then, there are a lot of chiefs in the archipelago. But the legend is that Taga was the chief of all chiefs. It's like the paramount chiefs of all the islands. And he settled in the island of Tinian. And that's where he passed away, legend says. The stories that were handed down to us was Taga is not your rebellious even towards the Spaniards. He was respected, and that's as Chamorros. Okay, we're not really known to be really violent people. You go back in history and you see Taga as not really he is the champion of the people. He is. The way the story goes is that, and the legend goes, is he is the champion of the islands. He was declared the chief of all chiefs And he never went out and used that big stature to put upon his people, his fellow Chamorros, and say that he is chief and everybody bows to me. There is none in the history that says that he took advantage of his people. And us as Chamorro, we learn that, we hear that, and we kind of like reflect on that, because we never see or hear the savagery of how Taga accomplished his wars and his challenge out there. We've never heard about it, because I think the man is a noble, and he understood, and he had a plan in mind to unite the whole islands. The fact that and I always envision this, the fact that Taga stayed here on his when he was, he made chief of all chief, and then he was going. He's at that age. He stayed here. He built his house here. We all see that the only biggest ladystone standing in the entire Commonwealth is the House of Taga. And then I would never would never foresee that it's not going to happen in Tinian. It has to be on Tinian. The festival has to be start from Tinian. When you look at the Mariana Islands, the Commonwealth, we have put ourselves in a very, very, like a quagmire, where we're so dependent on tourism. Now we're going through this whole new thing of intertourism, where you have people from Saipan coming down to Rhoda and do their 4-weekend vacation. Whenever we have festival, we have people from Saipan come down, and we depend upon each other. And that kind of like, it's not the economy at its best, but it's something that we needed to do as inter-island relatives, friends, just being Chamorro. We need to see, it's kind of like unheard, na Tazani Matoluta. Wow, how old are you? I'm 36 years old, I never knew that. Oh man, that's I remember back then in the 70s, we go on boats to go to Rhoda, to go to Saipan, to just play baseball with Fiesta San Antonio, San Vicente, San Francisco de Borja. We all kind of like wanted to continue to reach out to each other and to learn, and to the camaraderie and this made me really have. I still have my friends back then when I was 10 years old, and we're close friends by now. We all kind of like, okay, you'll be my godfather to my son, and I'll be your godfather to your daughter, or whatever, whatnot. No, we have created that bridge since when we were 10 years old, because we go inter-island, and the story of Taga being the chief of the entire Commonwealth. That's what I believe he wanted, was for us to unite and to be together and to have that bonding as a Chamorro.